Right about now, I'd like to introduce a very special guest who joins us in the studio. He's an OG from Mount Druitt, taking time out of his day to come down today to our studio, so we feel very blessed. So ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, please put your hands together for Rodskyz, Vaalele. Let's go. What's going on there, Rodskyz?
How are you, man?
Oh, not much, man. Just, chilling.
Bro, good to have you in the studio, man. Really good to have you in the studio, bro. You know, I've actually been looking forward to this for a while.
Yeah.
So, you know, I know you've got a lot to tell us, mate, and you've had for loss of a better word, a very colourful life. A very, very colourful life. MV, you want to jump in on this one?
No, man, just good to have the also here, Rodney Vaalele. Old school Mounty boy too, man. Good. He was good when he was young, man. Good kid. Was far longer to his parents and all that. He was good, man. Actually, me and this fella, we all went to the same church together too. It was good, man. Hanging out with these young fellas. Good guys, man. Good bunch of guys.
Good bunch of guys. Yeah, but welcome to the studio, Rodskyz. Welcome to the studio, Melissa.
Thanks for that, guys.
So, let's start from the beginning, Melissa. When, can I ask, so you were born in Samoa?
No, I was born in New Zealand.
New Zealand, so you're in New Zealand born Samoan, and then you came to Australia.
Yeah.
What year did you come to Australia, do you remember?
I think during the mid-90s.
Mid-90s. You came here with your parents and stuff? Yeah,
I come with my parents.
And you guys came straight into Mounty, or?
Yeah, straight to Mount Druitt, straight off the plane.
Yep. Like I said, you've had a fairly colourful life. You've, been on the street, you've been around, a lot of people know who you are, mate. You move in different circles. And some of those circles I find very interesting, very intriguing. In fact, some of our listeners, some of our viewers would love to know what's been going on. So you moved here from New Zealand, straight into Mount Druitt, and then what's the go there? Did you go to school?
Yeah, I went to my first high school I went to was St. Clair High.
Yep.
And then I got kicked out of there. Then went to Wayland High. Got expelled from there. Then I ended up at Mount Druitt High. Got expelled from there, and then ended up TAFE. Got done with a gun, and then I got locked up.
Well, hang on, mate. You got done with a gun at TAFE?
I got done with under-fire firearms.
There's a story I heard about you. You with a gun at a car park at TAFE. Was that the same?
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Okay. So, and when you got done for that, you did some time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Went to the big house. Yeah.
Went to juvenile.
Juvenile.
Yeah.
Oh, juvenile. Okay. So, where was it? Cobram or?
Cobham.
Yeah. After Cobham, where you come back out on the streets of Mount Druitt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And pretty much come out on the streets and exploded from there.
Exploded.
Big explosion, eh?
That's one hell of an explosion, man.
You know, I've known Rodskyz since he was a little kid, and he's always used to come around my house, or even when I had a bit of trouble. But these fellas, young fellas, always come around, and I always took them under my wing, a few times, and try and show them the ropes. But at the end of the day, every man has their own decision to make too. They go out there and they,
Yeah, that's true. So after all of that, now when you say explosion, can you care to elaborate a bit on that? So you got involved with some street gangs, or what were these?
Yeah, just running away from home, and didn't want to listen to my parents. I went through that route in life.
Yeah.
Met all my my old school crew.
Yep.
Shout out to my usos, all the old school NFP boys.
Yeah.
Those good. Those all my day one, brothers.
Day one brothers. Yeah.
Brothers in arms.
Yep.
Like I said, I've known Rods for a while, and when we went to church, we had our good cricket games back in those days too, eh? Rods.
Yeah,
some good, and it's funny because me and this guy's old man, when we used to play for our church, like, you know, when you become the first 2 or 4 batters, yeah, that means you're one of the good batters in the team. It was good because it was a privilege for me. He was the first batter and I was the second batter, Rods.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, you know, your man he knew how to play cricket, man. He was funny.
He was pretty good at all sports, like those main sports that all the islanders, like volleyball,
Oh, yeah.
cricket.
Yeah, yeah. But that's how I sort of had a good relationship with Rodney's dad, because our cricket, man, and he was every sport this fella's old man plays, man, he was passionate. I was happy. I was privileged to play with his dad, you know, because he loved the game of playing cricket or even volley, man. He was a good volleyball player too.
Yep.
You know, and he was just one of those old school men that passionate about playing sports, eh? And that's what we're like now, man. We love playing the island sports, you know.
Oh, tell me about growing up in Mounty. Were there a lot of Pacific Islanders back in that 90s?
There wasn't many. There wasn't much as there is now, you know.
Yeah.
Back then, there was a handful of like Samoans,
Yeah.
handful of Tongans, handful of Cookies,
Yeah.
Niueans, like, you know. Now, like, there's a lot, you know.
Yeah.
You know, back then, like, I even grew up with some of the, you know, Curry brothers, you know, growing up.
Yeah, nice. Without trying to put you on the spot, so you've served some time. You've been at the big house.
Yeah.
How many years in total would you say you've been away in the big house, mate?
Probably 12 years all up.
12 years.
I had a big break, and then, yeah.
So you're in your late 30s, early 40s now?
Early 40s now.
Early 40s. So if you look at 12 years, Rodskyz, that's a significant part of your life, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much. I spent a lot of Christmases. I spent my 21st in jail.
Yeah, wow.
A lot of New Years, 12 New Years, yeah. Pretty much.
So how did you cope inside, mate? What's the breakup in the jail like? What's that all about?
So back then, like, when I first went to, like, when I was 18, I first went to Big Boys. All the jail politics were, like, calming down. Like, it was starting to, like, from all the old school boys before us.
Yep.
It was still there, but, like, when you went to jail, like, you were, like, automatically a part of it. You know, like.
So when you say automatically a part of, so what if you're a Samoan, you go with the Islanders.
Yeah.
If you're white, you go with the white people. And what about the Aboriginals? Were they part of the Samoans and the Tongans, or they?
Oh, nah, it was like all segregated, like Goulburn Jail back then. Like now, it's all segregated.
Yeah.
Like in all these other maxos like Parkley, Parramatta. Parramatta's not there anymore. MRRC, like all Nashos mix.
Yeah.
Back then, it was a lot of tension in the yards.
Yeah.
Pretty much, you know.
So you would have seen a lot of
Seen a few how you going?
stabbings and beatings.
Yeah, pretty much.
Fair enough. Wow, what a colourful place to be, mate. 12 years. That's what's your take on that, MB? That's a significant amount of a young adult's life. 12 years, yeah.
It's crazy, man. Crazy.
I mean, think what you could achieve out in the community in 12 years. Although you're doing very well now, I believe.
Yeah, to be honest, I went to jail last week for one night. So I got. It was weird, eh? Like having that big break, haven't been inside for years.
How long was that break?
New Year's Eve 2009, and then I had a bit of a break, and then I went back in straight after my dad died, 2014.
2014, wow.
And then come out, and then it's 2025 now, and I finally went to jail for the first time in that.
So you've had a good stint outside.
Yeah,
You've had a good run.
pretty much.
Mate.
Bro, like,
So tell me about your one day in jail, mate. Did it bring back some old memories, mate?
oh, mate, it's different now because I got kids now.
Yeah.
You know, back then I'd never had kids, so I didn't care. You know,
Yeah.
I do my time. I go and do my time.
So you've got a few kids, haven't you? Like between you and Ellie.
Yeah.
Ellie, your partner is. Yep.
Yeah,
So you guys have got a couple of girls, and you got your son.
yeah.
Yep, and you're expecting you got one on the way.
Yeah, got another one on the way.
Hmm.
My daughter, London Rain.
London Rain.
Is she due now or anytime?
No, she's not, but she's having those symptoms. Like
Yeah.
it could come early. Like
Yeah,
so, we'll see what happens.
yeah. Let's talk about the gang life in Mount Druitt. Because there's been a lot of publicity about this. About our kids and not only Mounty but Sydney, even up in Brisbane. I guess around Australia, there's this wave of I don't even know. I've got to be very careful with the words I use because it's just something that's in the community and we're mindful of it. Like
Yeah.
and because you come through that life. So,
Okay, yeah, I came through that.
So you've got some advice to give our young kids out there that are, I'm talking particularly like postcode wars and things like that.
Yeah, like, bro, let me just set something straight, bro. Like, back in the days, there was no such thing as, postcode wars. Yeah, we used to muck around for, all the boys from different areas. Yeah, 2778, but, man, we all made money together. We all ate together, So, like, today it's, man, I don't know, bro. It's a bit crazy now, seeing, what's going on.
Yeah, yeah.
And, yeah.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate that it's happening in our Pacific Islander community, particularly, like you said, I grew up in Mount Druitt, Blacktown. We never had, we were in homeboy gangs, whatever, but they were not the seriousness of, the postcode wars these kids are tied into now. So,
I think that postcode war's still going,
Yeah.
And I think it's just like when we done those parades,
Yep.
Mounty's our backyard. We wouldn't go to any other,
Yeah.
like Liverpool or Campbelltown. We won't go there and step on their toes, So just keep it clear like that, It's not like a postcode. We're here to look after our own backyard. We're not going to come to your backyard and do a parade there or something, because that's you fellas.
Yeah.
Whatever Mounty does, that's what Mounty does, That's why the community, our Mounty community, even these old fellas or new, they sort of stick together, man, because we know that it's in the circle, but, that's all part of life now. And we just try and teach the young kids coming through now,
Yeah.
There's a way, there's always a good way, like bring back the church and, that's what I'm trying to do, man. Do my walk with God.
Yeah.
Now, I don't want anything of this to be in my way, man. I'm trying to walk straight with God. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm still a sinner, I still do the worldly things, but I'm slowly getting in there. So probably the next podcast we do, Albert, you probably see me with a Bible here preaching to you, man.
I have a very, very, very particular interest in the Mounty area and the landscape, how they're changing. I mean, we had Rodskyz in here last week or a couple of weeks ago at our launch talking about, how different it was.
It's
'Cause
different.
Back in those days when Rodskyz was,
Yeah.
there was hardly any Samoans in the area.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I remember when I went to school at Patrician Brothers in 1985. Sorry, 1986, 85 we came to Australia. In 1988 I was in year 10 at Patrician Brothers. And now it's very, very different demographic.
And didn't you go to Bidwell?
Sorry?
Did you go to Bidwell High School?
Moving on to the next question. Tell me, bro, because there's a lot of young kids out there that are involved in these, these wars.
Yeah.
Can you give them some advice, bro? As someone that's lived in Mount Druitt, as someone that's experienced that life, as someone that's been inside, I think you've got the credentials to answer this question. Also,
To be honest, like I come from a crew in Mount Druitt called NFP. Like we basically started all that gangster shit in the area, like for my era.
yeah,
When all that war kicked off with Inner West and all these guys like FBI and all these gangs, the cops actually come and knocked on a lot of our, because we were calming down off the crime back then. Cops come knock on my door and goes, there's an officer named Tia, Fijian ladies, come asked us, like a few of the old school boys, if we could come and try and talk to the younger boys. And I said, I turned it down because I was still trying to fix myself, but you know, I wish I could.
In hindsight,
Yeah,
look at it now.
I could have went down there, but you know, it is what it is now. You know.
Now that you've got a son,
Yeah.
I've got to ask, you don't want the same life for your boy?
Nah, no way.
No.
No way.
No way. No.
No, I think
I think a lot of people change once you know you start having kids. You know, you just want the best for your kid, and that's what this guy's doing now, doing the best for his family now, and that's just all part of life in general, you know.
So, I mean, he's got a London rain.
Yeah, my daughter coming.
Yeah,
He's
nice,
coming.
mate. And you
The boss.
The boss.
Yeah, I don't know what it feels like to like actually have my own daughter, but you know,
There's got to be some. I think she's gonna sweep you away, mate. You know.
to be honest, I just want the best. Like even like for other people's kids, man. Like I just want the best. You know,
Yeah.
I've lived that life. We've lived that life. I come from that life. You know.
Yeah.
You know, it's been a very long time. You know, and I still catch up with a lot of my old school. So I was like Seki and V-Man and Gusto and all them. You know.
Yeah, nice. Shout out
the
to
old school boys.
Shout out to those.
Shout out to those boys. Shout out to those
to
boys.
the-
We all. I was probably the last bloke to become a family man out of all the boys.
Yeah.
All the boys used to be like, man, when you
There was heaps of these too, Rods?
yeah, there was a few of us.
Yeah,
A lot
it's
of
good,
our
man.
original NFP crew.
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
Shout out to all my usos, man. They're
And
all
shout
good
out
family
to
men.
NFP brothers.
Shout out to the NFP boys. OGs and Mount Druitt.
Yeah, shout out to the boys.
Yeah, I used to be in this gang in Doonside, eh? I'll
Yeah.
tell you quickly about it. Yeah, it was called the Homeboys, and we used to wear red bandanas, and it was a mix of Islanders, Filipinos, and you know what? We used to go to the club and see who was the best dancer, bro. So that was the extent of my gangster days. You know, like
Yeah.
we weren't even gangsters, bro. We were just all these groups that hung around each other and sort of, but very different from the environment you come from, also. You know, very very different place, Mounty, and a lot of these Western, Sydney.
Growing up in those days where there was no camera phones, we had no camera phones. All you had was CCTV. You know.
Well, bro, that raises an interesting point. Do you think social media has had a huge impact on the growth of these gang wars that these kids are taunting each other on TikTok, they're taunting each other on Facebook, Instagram, and then they've got something to prove, you know? I think that...
I think it comes down to egos, you know. Everyone wants a name for himself, you know.
Yeah.
They want to, you know, put themselves out there. But, you know, it's pretty sad what's going on now,
It's
you know.
just that social media thing that's going, like even you can have a little argument, you know, and then you get someone on the phone recording it,
Yeah.
and it goes viral.
Goes
man.
viral, yeah.
It goes crazy.
You know, growing up in Mount Druitt also, ever since knowing MV, big MV, bro, I looked up to all these. I still look up to them also now, bro, you know. This guy took me under his wing, tried to, you know, take me away from... But, you know, like, growing up, bro, especially in Mount Druitt, man, on the streets, you know, there was too many opportunities there, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, growing up in a poor house, you know, what needed money. I started smoking cigarettes, started drinking,
Yeah.
you know. And one thing led to another. I started jumping on that buzz rolling people on the trains for money.
Wow.
Yeah, man, it was different back then. Like a shout out to my also JB and then one of his other brothers, X.
Yeah,
Bro,
yeah.
one of my good usos, bro. He's pretty well known, you know. It's good brother. I met this uso Albie, I think back in 2019.
Nation.
We were into cars. Nation Car Club wasn't made yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was working in the Rallon doing precast blocks, and this guy messaged me on comment on one of my cars, and then inboxed me and goes, "Oh, where do you work also?" I said, "I'm in the Rallon." He goes, "Oh, I live in the Rallon too." And yeah, he comes down to my work. I met the uso, and then that's how it
Kicked
all
it off,
started.
eh?
There's a friend of mine, and I said, "What do you do for a living?" And he goes, "I flip cars." And I go, "Oh yeah." And he's probably flipped about 2 cars since I've known him. Oh, this guy here, bro. This guy. Can you, just for the record, mate, can you state on this podcast how many Kavales?
Bro, like, honestly, I can't even keep count. I've lost count. I've had some mad cars, but I love cars.
Oh, mate.
I'll always love cars,
Yeah.
you know. But I've had some pretty decent cars, you know.
I think you're
We-
pretty
we
famous. You're famous for the Forester, the white Forester, yeah?
the
Eitzwa.
the purple one.
Each-
Like I
Even he just had a Skyline and he put a barrow in it, man. Crazy, man.
What's your next project, mate?
To be honest, man, I'm not thinking about cars at the moment because I got my sentence next week.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to concentrate on that. If I go to jail, I go to jail. If I don't, I don't.
Sorry, mate. What am I missing here? Sentence?
Yeah, I got my sentencing on
Next week.
Tuesday. So yeah, look, I'm not stressed about it. Like, you know, if they lock me up, it's good. Go reset my life, come back out. And,
Wow.
You know, but the only thing I'm pretty spilled because my daughter's about to be due soon. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, they've offered me a ICO pretty soon. So I should be good, but I've accepted the fact that if they lock me up, they lock me up. You know.
Wow. All right.
One of your favourite Samoan dishes there, Rods?
My favourite Samoan dish would have to be
I'll give you like two.
Oka.
oka.
Two.
Yeah.
And,
What about the hot food?
bro, to be honest, bro, Kalavou Bofi, bro.
Chili. You know why he said Kalavou Povi? Because that's what he's having tonight, Chili.
Yeah, shout out to my cousin Lacey.
Shout, Lacey Salapo, shout sis.
Yeah, like I used to live on Robinson Road.
Yeah.
Now Tupperware was off it.
Right there.
Yeah, and the walk my way shops there.
Yeah.
I used to go get all the big bin
That's where I used to get
steak
the.
and cheese pies,
That's where I used to go down and play
Saptima.
the Space Invaders there. I used to get hiding from
Street Fighter.
Chili, you can't beat, hey,
King Cobras.
it's like Mangry. Mangry had heaps of stuff to do when you're little kids. I think our generation, man, we were the last generation that went out and played outside
Yeah,
all the
bro.
time, man.
Yeah.
You know, that's what we used to do, man. You know, and,
You were at Molesworth, eh? Molesworth, yeah. I was over in Tiari off Raglan Street, off Massey.
yeah.
Buckland Road,
I
yeah.
was on Robinson
And
Road.
how good was Mangry Pools, bro?
Yeah, bro.
Back in those days, man. That's where we
Was
got,
this before or after the machete incident?
it was way after.
Way after, yeah.
Yeah,
Do you
way
remem-
after that.
Because remember when that happened and,
Yeah,
and
and
the
the Tara.
violence erupted everywhere.
And the
Even
Tara.
here, even here, mate. Tongans and Samoans were against
Yeah.
each other. You know.
Oh, you know, it was in Mounty, eh?
Nah, there's one in Mounty, eh? But I'm talking about the one in New Zealand, the original one back in
In Otara, yeah.
yeah, with that
That's
Samoan guy
when,
with the Sapelu and the
even someone got caught in Mount Jewett long time ago. I think just before we got to Mount Jewett. I won't say the name. I'll say it after the
yeah.
yeah. And this guy was crazy too. He was big back in the days too, man.
Big boy, yeah.
Nah, he was crazy, man.
Was it Islander?
Yeah,
Oh, I think I know you're talking
yeah.
about.
So we went to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's actually out now. That bloke.
He got deported.
Yeah, he got deported.
Got
Yeah.
deported back.
Wow.
You know him. If I say the name, you know. Yeah.
I don't know if I want to know.
No.
So next week's a big day.
Don't worry, mate.
I hope.
I'm gonna pray for you, Mauso, man. You're gonna be all right, man.
Should be all good, but like I said, you have to accept. You know, if you don't accept,
Yeah.
that could be the possibility. Then you're never going to do your job properly. You're just going to do it hard. You're going to do head miles when you go in. So you have to accept the fact. Like if you could get locked up, sweet. But if you think you're going to go to court and figure, nah, I'm going to get it, and then they give you a prison term and you're not ready for jail, bro. That's how it is.
Yeah.